Section 3.1, Introduction to Decimals. Here's an example of a number written in decimal notation. Notice that to the left of the decimal point we have the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and so on. And to the right of the decimal point we have tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, and so on. The number to the left of the decimal point is considered the whole number portion. The number to the right of the decimal point is considered the fraction or the decimal portion of the number. Typically, when you read a number in decimal notation, the decimal point is read as the word "and." Let's try some examples involving writing out the word form of each decimal number. For example, we have 4 and 23 hundredths, or 4.23. Notice where the number ends. It ends at 3, which is in the hundredths position. If you were thinking in terms of money, so $4.23, you would write it as 4 and 23 over $100, or 23 over 100 is written as 23 hundredths. Another example is 91.008. That can be written as 91 and 8 thousandths. Again, the number ends at the 8, and the 8 is in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths position. Finally, we have 0.0065. So all we have to do is write 65 10,000ths because, again, the number ends at the 5, which is in the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000ths position. We do not have to acknowledge the 0, so we have no whole number portion for this number. You can, however, write this as 0 and 65 10,000ths, but it's unnecessary. In the number 907.1342, what is the place value of the digit 4? Well, it's in a decimal form, so we have 1342, we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. It's in the thousandths position. Write the number 55.6083 in words. We have 55 to the left of the decimal point, and we have 6,083 to the right of the decimal point. Please keep in mind that you're going to write the word "and" once and only once, and you're going to write it as your decimal point. So again, the number to the left of the decimal point is 55, and the number to the right of the decimal point is 6,083. So here's what we want to do. We write it as 55 and 6,083, and the number ends in the tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000ths position. So our final answer is 55 and 6,083 10,000ths. Again, the word "and" is only used once. You do not write it as 55 and 6,083 10,000ths. Again, the word "and" is used once. Let's take the phrase 806 and 491 hundred-thousandths and write it as a number. Okay, so let's talk first of all about the decimal. The hundred-thousandths position is 5 places after the decimal because we have tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000ths, and then hundred-thousandths. So be really careful. Our answer is not 806.491. 491 will be part of our answer, but it ends in the thousands position. We have to have 2 more places. So our final answer will look like this: 806.00491. Let's now try some problems involving rounding a decimal to a given place value. For example, round the number 6.9237 to the nearest hundredth. So start by determining which number represents the hundredths position. In this case, it would be the number 2. To determine how to round, you look at the number right after the hundredths position, which would be the 3. If that number is 5 or higher, then you would round the 2 up to a 3. So it would become 6.93. Everything after the hundredths position turns to zeros. If the number after the hundredths position is 4 or lower, then that 2 stays a 2 and your number is 6.92. And again, all the numbers after the hundredths position become zeros. Because the number is 3, our answer stays a 2, and our answer is 6.92 or 6.9200. Round the number 12.385 to the nearest tenth. Start by determining which number is in the tenths position, that is the 3. Then look at the number to the right of 3, that is 8. Because 8 is 5 or higher, we're going to round up. The only number we round up is the number in the tenths position. So 3 becomes 4. Everything after the tenths position turns to zeros. You can write your answer either as 12.400 or simply 12.4. Okay, let's try a few more examples. Let's round 3.675849 to the nearest 10,000th. Start by determining which number is in the 10,000ths position. That's the 8. Let's look at the number to the right of 8. It's 4. So we are going to maintain the 8. We are not going to round up. So our final answer is 3.6758. And remember, everything after the 10,000ths position becomes zeros. Let's try another example. 72.416, rounded to the nearest whole number. Now, when we talk about rounding to the nearest whole number, that would be the ones position. So we're going to focus on the 2 and look at the number to the right of the whole number. That would be the 4. Again, we're going to maintain the 2. We're not going to round up. So our final answer is 72. Again, everything after it becomes 0. So that would technically be 72.000, etc. Lastly, we have 31.8652. We're going to round this one to the nearest whole number. So focus on the ones position and look at the number to the right of it. This case, it's an 8, so we will round up. So our final answer is simply 32 or 32.0000, etc. Okay, lastly for this section, let's compare decimals to fractions. Decimals and fractions actually represent the same value. They're just written in different forms. For example, 7/10 can be written as 0.7 or 7 divided by 10 or 7 over 10. They can both be read as 7/10. Let's take a look at 59/100. 0.59 means the same thing as 59 over 100. They can both be read as 59/100. 19,000. 0.019 is equal to 19 over 1,000. Again, they can both be read as 19,000ths. 27/10,000. So 0.0027 is equal to 27 over 10,000. Okay, let's compare two decimal numbers. Place a less than or a greater than symbol between 0.037 and 0.04. There are two methods I will show you to compare the numbers. The first method involves looking at the place values of the numbers and seeing which one is larger once you get to a number or a place value that's different. If we look at the ones position, they are both zeros. If you look at the tenths position, they are still both zeros. But if you look at the hundredths position, on the left-hand side we have the 3, and on the right-hand side we have the 4. Because 4 is larger, 0.04 is a larger number than 0.037. The second method involves writing these decimal numbers as fractions and then finding a common denominator to determine which one is larger. Starting with 0.037, it's equivalent to 37 thousandths, or 37 over 1,000. And 0.04 is equivalent to 4 hundredths, or if we multiply the numerator and denominator both by 10, we end up with 40 thousandths. Therefore, both fractions have a denominator of 1,000. You can clearly tell that the number 40 is larger than the number 37. So, 0.037 is less than 0.04. In other words, 37 thousandths is less than 40 thousandths. Let's try one last example. Place a less than or greater than symbol in between 0.15 and 0.107. Let's look at the place values. 0.15 and 0.107. The ones position is the same, the tenths position is the same, but the hundredths position is different for these two numbers. The left-hand number is a 5, the right-hand number is a 0. Therefore, 0.15 is greater than 0.107. You can also use the second method where you write them as fraction equivalents. So we have 15 over 100, which multiplied by 10 over 10 gives you 150 over 1,000. And that is clearly greater than 107 over 1,000.